astronauts, welcome back to Astro-Tarot Research. I hope you are having a great 2025 so far, and I hope that you are enjoying my new background setting for my cards. Isn't it so beautiful? I do have to go over it with alcohol again. For some reason, the stickery part is just so frustrating to get off, but that's okay. I'm very happy that I got this. This was 5 years in the making. If you know, you know, okay? So if you've been a part of the Astronaut fam for that long, then you know I've wanted this slab for a very long time. So let us jump into today's reading, and that is a poll question. Yes, that's right, a poll question back from 2024, actually the end of 2024. You know it takes me a while to get to these poll questions. And these poll questions that you voted for, astronauts, is what new qualities are people noticing in you? That is right. We're going to look at what people are seeing, changing, developing, transforming, and growing within you. But before we get started, I do want to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to give me all the feedback about the reading and if it resonates with you. And any links to social media can be found below in the description bar. Now let us jump into these piles. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4, pile number 5. So let's not waste any more time and just sit back, relax, and choose. Hey, pile number 1, let's get started on the things that people are noticing you that is new. And I'm using the Shuffle Tarot card, which mixes the cards, because I felt this was perfect for this reading because it combines various different types of energy, and we're talking about the new things in which people are noticing about you. So I thought that was clever of me. Gonna give myself praise. But enough of that. Let's get into your reading. So what we have here when it comes to the new qualities people are noticing about you is we have the Hanged Man, which I don't know why I have upside down. We have the Hangman, the Knight of Wands, and we have the 4 of Wands, we have the 7 of Wands, and we have the Knight of Wands. So many different wands. Very, very active energy here. But let's start off with this Hanged Man. So the Hangman here on the Shuffle Tarot deck is combined with the Temperance card here. And so one thing that I love about the combinations of these two cards is that they both deal with patience and waiting and being this person who isn't someone who is very gung-ho. That's the energy that you're coming from. You're coming from a place of reflection. You're coming from a place where you have been more balanced, that you have been making sacrifices towards your dreams or your goals or to benefit you in some way. And you have been very moderate about it. You have been very thoughtful in the sacrifices that you have been making. And you've sort of been this person who has been sitting on the sidelines in a good way and taking time out to reflect on all of the things that you need to be successful in this lifetime or just achieve your goals. It doesn't necessarily have to be some sort of monetary success or status, but generally, how can I achieve the things that I want to achieve? Because the Hangman represents the sacrifices that we make in order to get to the place that we want to go. So for example, you could be sacrificing time. So you have people who are really into fitness, right? One thing they do is they may sacrifice their sleep, instead of sleeping 8 hours a day, they may sleep 7, get up early so that they can exercise and sacrifice their time so that they can get the body that they want. You could be sacrificing your time in terms of, hey, I really want to go out. My friends are inviting me out. You know, my partner wants to go out, whoever the case wants to go out with me. But I have to stay inside and I have to do this course because it will benefit me in my career and my goals and the places that I want to be in the long run. You could be sacrificing, you know, finances or money. Like, hey, I'm going to, you know, instead of buying a $500 fur coat, I'm going to invest in the stock market or my Roth IRA or 401k so that I can grow my wealth over time. So that's the place that you're coming from. You're coming from this place where you've been making some sound decisions. And the thing that I love about temperance is that its original meaning when it came out at the time, early 1900s, is that it dealt a lot with the economy and finances and being frugal. So you may be coming from a place where you have been holding back on yourself, like holding back on the things that you want to do, because you may felt like it wasn't as financially beneficial towards you, or it didn't really benefit you in the long run in terms of the things that you want to do. Maybe you wanted to sort of stay in the house and save a lot of money so that you can accomplish some goal, like, you know, buy your own house, get your own apartment, get your own place, or some other expense or something along the lines of that. Or maybe you wanted to, instead of eat out every week or every other week or something like that, you're like, okay, I'm going to eat out once a month because I want to save my money so that I can use it for some other practical need that you want or desire. But now what people are noticing in you is that you're being a little bit more free, is the energy I want to be, more spontaneous, less in this place where you are calculated and control, which is nothing wrong with that because we all have to be, you know, calculated and controlled at different points in our life. And you are taking those opportunities to enjoy yourself. You're taking your opportunities to go out there. The thing with this wand element is wands represent that passion, that being very active energy, being very energetic, being inspired. Now, the Hangman isn't an active card, and neither is Temperance. Even though Temperance does have that fire element to it, it's like, I mean, parts of it is active, but not really, okay? But it's not as excitable as the Knight of Wands, who always wants to go out on a new adventure, who always wants to try something different, who's a little bit of a thrill seeker in a way. They're trying to get that dopamine in, right? So now you're in a place where you're trying to bring more excitement into your life, and people are noticing that. They're like, man, every other weekend you're doing something different. You are, you know, going to some arts and craft class. You are going out on the town and trying a different restaurant. You are going to a new museum or an event or something along the lines of that. And I say that because we have this Four of Wands energy too, which is a time for celebration and outings. You know, typically in tarot, it can represent like weddings and things like that. But generally, it can represent like events and places where people are doing social gatherings. So more than likely, people are noticing the changes in which you are being more sociable, more active, that you are someone who wants to engage more in others, that you are somebody who is now, that you've taken the time to make those sacrifices or really think about the direction that you're going in, because sometimes it's just a period of reflection and deciding, okay, what are my next steps? Now you're actually putting those steps into action. Now, the Hangman in astrology is associated with Pisces. I mean, in tarot is associated with Pisces in astrology. And what that house, because the Pisces is connected to the 12th house, what that house and that sign have to do with is like this strong period of self-awareness and really thinking about who you are and the direction that you want to go in. So when you have like strong transits to the 12th or house or Pisces, it's a period in your life where you may be in a long period of reflection. So I'll give an example. I remember last time I had some sort of major transit to my 12th house. I spent a lot of time just honestly enjoying myself, because it is a place of retreat, but but to myself, by myself, enjoying myself, a lot of time at home, a lot of time, you know, thinking and reflecting. And during that time period, you know, I thought about like where I wanted to be, in particularly physically. So I was like, you know what? I think it might be time for me to take some steps towards, you know, actually losing some weight and getting to the place that I want to be physically. Now, I didn't do anything while that transit was happening into my 12th house, but soon as that, you know, that transit hit my first house, it was like, boom, I was on that weight loss journey. I was putting the things that I was thinking about into action. And that's you right now, pal number one. You are in a period, and people are noticing this, that you're putting the things that you've been thinking about, that you've ruminating about, that you've been reflecting on, into action. You're acting on your ambition. You're acting on your passions. If you have been thinking about, hey, I want to see this person in concert, I'm going to see that person in concert. If you've been thinking about, hey, I want to change my lifestyle, now you're making the steps to change your lifestyle. I want to make new friends. Now you're making new friends. Whatever goal that you've been contemplating and having in mind, people are noticing that in you. They're noticing that you're being very, very, very proactive. And I love that we got the Knight of Wands twice. So the Knight of Wands, he's not a complete rookie. He's not the Page of Wands. So there isn't as much impulsivity. There isn't as much, let's just act right away. Granted, there's still a good amount of that, but they have some experience. And so they are a little bit more calculated on how they're going to exert their energy. They're going to be somebody who's going to make swift, decisive actions towards meeting their goals. They're going to be open to a little bit more of spontaneity and having those like just say yes to things moments. But at the same time, they have a level of intellect and experience that they can recognize, okay, certain things are not for me. For example, you know, the Page of Wands could be a type of person who, like, when they get their paycheck, they're like, oh, I'm going to spend that. I'm going to go out on the weekend. And they're not thinking about how much money they're spending. They're not thinking about, like, other drinks that they're buying or shopping trips. They're just like, I'm going to spend my money. I got it now. And then the next week, they're broke. The Knight of Wands, they're like, okay, I can't spend that much money as I was doing when I was a Page of Wands, because I already know that situation left me broke the next week. So now I'm going to set a limit on how much I'm going to spend. And they may not be sure of where that limit is yet, because there's still a Knight on balancing whatever it is that they need to spend, but they know that they need to put a limit on it. So that is you right now. You have a level of experience that you know what you want to do, and you sort of know the steps, but you're still experimenting when it comes to getting there. So people see you trying new things. They see you deciding, okay, I sort of like this thing, but maybe I don't like it like this. Or like, I like hiking here, but I don't really like hiking there. So it's a lot of different trying new things, experimenting, and going for those things that bring out a lot of happiness and, you know, achieving personal desires in a way, and sort of honing that to see what is something I can consistently do that will bring me a sense of fulfillment. Okay? People see that you are rising in confidence, because the one thing that the Knight of Wands has is they have a lot of confidence. They are someone who is rising in their power, and they have this strong drive to move forward. You are all action, 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 action. Let's go right now. All right. There is just so much thrill and excitement and passion when it comes to your energy, and people are seeing that in you. They're seeing that enthusiasm. They're seeing the sense of excitement that you have when it comes to pursuing the things that you want. They're seeing the ambition within you, especially with this Seven of Wands here. This Seven of Wands is a very no-nonsense card. They're like, hey, I have some things that I need to accomplish, and I'm not going to let any of you haters stand in my way. This is like Beyonce's song where it's like, move, get out the way. That is you, pal, number one. Like, you don't have time for anybody right now. If somebody wants to come for your neck, you're going to tell them off and say, yeah, I'm standing in my position. I don't need you telling me what to do. It's like, I am going to not let people pull me in any direction. I'm not going to listen to the naysayers. I'm not going to listen to the haters. I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to, protect my energy, protect the things that I value, protect my achievements. I'm going to stand in my opinions. And I'm not going to let someone try to sway my mind. I'm going to stand in my goals. If I want to go in this direction, that means I'm going to go in this direction. And yeah, I may make mistakes, but it doesn't matter because that's life. And I love that we have this for you. You're showing a sense of resilience. You're showing the ability to stand strong when it comes to difficulties. You're showing that you can stand up to challenges. And one thing that I love about all of these wands, especially the Seven of Wands, is the Seven of Wands is very proactive. They don't wait for someone to give them the right opportunity. Meaning if they're like, I'll just give this because it's an easy example. If they're at a job and the job is not providing opportunities, they will either make opportunities at their job or, they're going to make opportunities for themselves. Meaning like you're going to start going to conferences or start going to events or start taking courses so that you can gain the skills that you want to gain in order to get to the place that you want to get. And people see that within you. They see the drive, they see the focus, they see the ambition, they see the fire in your eyes, pal, number one. You are showing a lot of courage, you're taking a lot of risk, you are so determined. And honestly, it's like, wow, you are coming with some fierce energy. And I guess the last thing that I want to say is that even though this energy that is very much outspoken and a go-getter, even though you have this energy and it attracts a lot of different haters and things along the lines of that, you're not backing down. You're not backing down to challenges. You're willing to take on any situation that comes your way. You're not being discouraged. And you're not in a place where you're like, I'm going to back down because it's hard. It kind of reminds me of like, the cycle that a lot of people go through with dating apps where they really put themselves out there and then they take a period of pause. When it comes to you, you're like, there's no pause here. I'm going to keep going until I find that relationship that I want. And you can apply that to any area. I'm just giving examples to help you better understand this energy that people are noticing within you. You no longer have those feelings of self-doubt, and people are seeing that. They're seeing that you're standing strong and you're not backing down and you're not compromising on who you are. Especially since when we have the Knight of Wands here on the Shuffle Tarot and it's the Magician on the card, it's like you're taking the ability to accomplish anything you want and you're being proactive about it. You are being someone who is like, yeah, I can do it. I can do anything I set my mind to. If I want to go ahead and do this thing, I'm going to go ahead and do this thing, and I'm going to do it well, and I'm going to accomplish it, and I'm going to get what I want. And that people are seeing that within you, pal number one. So that is what I have for you. Please let me know if this pile resonates. If not, feel free to choose a new pile, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. Either way, I'm happy you stopped by. Don't forget to check out the community tab to find out what readings might be next. You can vote on that. And I go live either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So if you would like to get a reading or have a question answered from me, all you have to do is enter that live, and the time will be posted on the community tab by Tuesday night Eastern Standard Time. So that's what I have, and I will see you next time. Au revoir. Hey, pal number 2, let's get started on the new qualities people are noticing within you. I have chosen the random tarot deck, which I felt was perfect for this reading because it combines various different cards, and it also has some 2 unique cards. So we have the 10 of Cups, formerly known as the 10 of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Cups, and it is very, very interesting how the Queen of Cups is holding some sort of chalice here, or I don't know what you call that, an ornament or something along the lines of that. We have the 5 of Cups. We have the Emperor, and we have the Sun card. Let me move these things over. So, very interesting how the things that people are noticing within you. So people will feel like you have been somebody who's been very goal-focused or very goal-oriented, career-oriented, purpose-oriented, whatever the case may be. People may have felt you were just a generally ambitious person and a go-getter. Now, it's not like they no longer think these things, because they still do, but they feel like you are opening up more so about your emotional side. People are starting to see that you are somebody who is a very well-rounded individual, that you are somebody who is open to new possibilities, circumstances, that you're someone who is a very sensitive person. And that's a good thing, because it shows that you have a lot of empathy, that you're somebody who can be caring and thoughtful, that you're someone who can be, what's the word? Emotionally mature, emotionally evolved, very elevated type of person. You know, especially in society, you can never have enough empathy. At least that's something I believe. Obviously, you do need some intelligence, because people may take advantage of your empathy. But for you, I feel like you have the wits to not to be taken advantage of. So when we have the Queen of Cups here, now, first of all, the Queen of Cups is someone who is very soft, very beautiful, very nurturing. The cup with the handles on the Queen of Cups represents these guarding forces. Basically, it represents following your intuition. It's a container that has, like, I guess it's more so of a container to represent having angels and spirits on her side. So it just represents like the mysteriousness of, you know, divine forces, as well as that sixth sense, that intuitiveness that we all have within us. Okay, so that's generally what the Queen of Cups is representing. She also has a bit of these roses here. Normally she has like a cloth or cloth that comes across here. But since we have these roses, and roses are connected to nature and growing things and developing, this lets me know that people may feel like you are someone who may be nurturing a side of you that is more spontaneous, more creative, more, what's the word? Individualistic in a way. Because when we have this nature side to this, we start talking about like what makes us us, what makes us unique. How do we fit into the grand scheme of things? Yes, we're all connected. Yes, there's some sort of divine force, but we start to think about like how we fit into this grand plan, okay? And so when we bring this down to a more practical level, this can represent you fostering and catering to your creative side. Okay, I just want to make that clear. There's actually not a huge amount of changes to the Queen of Cups here to my recollection. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, but she doesn't seem too different. Mainly this infinity symbol that we may see above the Magician, and then the roses from my memory, okay? So that represents you stepping into your power, you stepping into your creativity, you being the one who is taking on more control, taking on more responsibilities, being this person who is the master of their own universe, or someone who may even be more in control of their emotions. So if you have been somebody who's been very reactive in the past, meaning that, you know, not necessarily saying, you know, you have outbursts or something like that, but possibly someone who can be very emotionally swayed, easily triggered, this would be you taking control of that aspect and taking a moment to step back before you react, okay? Same with the Emperor. You know, the Emperor reverse can be very impulsive, can be someone who is, you know, dictating and forceful and always trying to, you know, push their agenda on people. But upright, it's like someone who is very strategic, who steps within their power, who only uses force when absolutely necessary, but rather they would use the tools around them to get what they need and have things set in place. People are noticing that you have a sense of structure and organization within you. It's really a spread when it comes to you, pal. Number 2, about empowerment, okay? And there is a strong element of confidence. In fact, this is sort of similar to another pal, but then there's also this strong intuitive element, okay? This strong need to cater to your emotional needs. The 5 of Cups here represents people feeling like the changes within you have been strongly emotional, because 5s in general represent change and transformation. And people feel like you are trying to assure that you don't repeat past mistakes, or that you don't stay stuck on the past, that you're able to move forward into a brand new day. So people may feel like you're letting go of moments, thoughts, situations that haven't been the most pleasant, okay? Maybe you used to talk about an ex a lot or something like that. That would be the energy of before. But the 5 of Cups is like, I'm letting it go. All right, I'm no longer going to talk about this person who bothers me, who didn't treat me right, or, you know, maybe things ended great, but, you know, I used to talk about them a lot. Whatever the case may be, but it's like, okay, I'm no longer going to do that. This can also be any sort of emotional situation that people may feel is something that you may have been clinging to. Whether that is some sort of like security blanket that you may have. And there's a lot of different security blankets that people have within their life. A popular one is obviously people may use, you know, sort of like drugs or, you know, substances to learn to cope with their emotional needs and things along the lines of that, or their turbulent emotions. But, you know, security blanket can also be habits like, oh, I'm going to doom scroll on social media. This is like saying, I'm not going to use that to be my emotional blanket anymore. I'm actually going to step into my power, and I'm going to learn to sit with my emotions. I'm going to properly stand here and just feel sad when I'm sad. I'm not going to run after, you know, what's the word? Any sort of, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad habit, but when you're using it as an emotional coping mechanism, it can be. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that stereotype of that gamer who will stay up for like 10 hours straight focusing on a video game. It's like, hey, I think you might be using that to cope with your emotional turmoil. that your dissatisfaction with your life, or your dissatisfaction with yourself or your circumstances. You know, it's like this sort of avoidance or escapism that you may be doing, that you may have done. But people feel like you're turning away from that. And because you're letting this sort of behaviors go, and mind you guys, I'm just using examples. You don't necessarily have to do these things, right? Because you're letting these things go, people have been noticing a brighter and better you. The key word for this spread and the changes people are noticing in you is confidence and responsibility. Okay? People feel like you're being way more responsible when it comes to taking charge of your life. And this is not to say you haven't been responsible before. Maybe there were just a few areas that, you know, fell to the wayside. You know, we're not all perfect, right? But people feel like you're bossing up. Like, these two cards represent leadership. These represent taking charge. Maybe you've even been a little bit more passive, or you've kind of let others take the lead, or maybe you didn't feel like your input was valued in some way, or other people may have had better suggestions. But this is you saying, no, I have good thoughts too. You know, I have great ideas to contribute as well. Or my opinion matters. You know, my thought process isn't, you know, what's the word I want to use here? My thought process isn't silly, or, you know, for some reason I can't think of a word, but my thought process isn't silly is where I'm going to go with. But essentially it's about self-validation. It's about no longer looking for others to say, hey, this is okay. You know, I've seen people who will look for validations for their decisions, to say, hey, am I making the right decision? Can I get your input on this? Can I get your input on that? And there's nothing wrong with that, actually. But when we start to do it too much, to the point where it feels like other people are putting all of their says or all of their inputs into our lives, that's when it becomes a little bit more destructive and very much toxic, I guess is the word I'm going to be using to describe it. But essentially, you won't need this anymore. People will see that you're not looking for their input or their opinion. You're just gung-ho going to do it, and it's going to work out for you. At least that's the mindset you're taking on. You're taking on an extremely positive mindset. You're taking on this, I can do it. I have everything I need. I am a boss. I'm a champion. I'm that girl. I'm that guy. I've got it like that. This is very much like kingly emperor type energy. It's feeling fantastic. It's looking fantastic. It's being fantastic. And if you have been the type of person who hasn't been standing up for themselves, people will see that you are now taking a stand. And you are basically, as they say, standing on business, meaning you're not letting anything slide. You are sticking to your desires and what you want. You are assuring that you're not giving people passes or even, you know, making excuses for yourself or things along the lines of that. This is about you leveling up in the best possible way. Having that confidence, taking on these extra responsibilities, and really having this sort of tunnel vision attitude when it comes to accomplishing what you need to accomplish, which is interesting because, like I said before, people already felt like you were sort of like really ambitious before, but it's like you've gotten even more ambitious, but at the same time, you've managed to bring out your softer side. So people like this new balance. People will like the fact that you're showing your empathetic side, but at the same time, you're still making smart and practical decisions, and you're making sure that you're not being taken advantage of and that you're being, you know, fair to others. But at the same time, you also want to focus on making sure that you get your needs met and you aren't so hung up on how things have been in the past. If people have wronged you in the past, you're like, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about them. I'm going to focus on my own self-improvement. I'm going to focus on getting better. I'm going to focus on developing to be the person that I want to be. And people are seeing that 100% within you. But that is the things that I mainly want to emphasize. This level of confidence and self-assurance that you are having within yourself, people are like, wow, like I did not expect that from you, you know? I don't know what's going on, but people are really, really seeing that. And then they're also seeing like a bit of like your playful side as well, okay? Because the sun represents that playful energy, that fun, that excitement, that willingness to try new things, especially since we also have a 10 here, and 10s represent endings and new beginnings. The sun also represents new beginnings as well, and endings too. So people are seeing those new beginnings and endings that you are putting into your life. It's like a double confirmation for this reading, that people are really seeing these changes and developments in a huge and magnificent way. You're shining, you're glowing, you know, people are like really shocked. Like, you know what I mean? People really feel like, oh my goodness, like you're in your era, like you're in your bag right now. So that is what I see for you, pal number 2. These qualities of being kind, being open, being assertive, letting go of the past, upping the level of ambition, even though you were already kind of ambitious before, being very focused, being very like on track, taking on more responsibility, stepping into leadership roles, taking control of your life, not letting other people's opinions lead you, and taking and nurturing your creative side as well, and showing people more of your personality. So that is what I have for you. If this resonates, please let me know. If not, feel free to choose a new pile or a new reader. Either way, I'm happy you stopped by. I go live Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. The time will be posted on Tuesday in the community tab. You can also vote on the next potential reading on that community tab as well. So become an astronaut and vote away. I will see you next time. Au revoir. Hey pal, number 3, let's get started on the new qualities that people are noticing in you. We have the 6 of Swords, and this is the shuffled tarot deck. So things are just exactly what they said, shuffled around. We have the 7 of Swords, formerly known as the 7 of Cups, and this is formerly known as the 6 of Wands. We have the Queen of Coins. We have the 10 of Cups, and we have the Fool. So I use the shuffle deck because these are new qualities, so I thought this deck would be the perfect deck to choose for this. So the new qualities that people are noticing in you is that you are moving on to a place where you can feel a bit more, what's the word? Like you have better opportunities provided for you. And this can also represent a change in perspective in order to be open towards the possibilities that are out there, allowing yourself to truly believe in expansion and growth, and that you'll be able to get the things that you want. So the strongest thing that people are noticing in you is having that change in perspective, having that willingness to grow, to learn, to explore. The 6 of Wands is all about victory and celebration and having a great time. But now that we have this like 6 of Wands and 6 of Swords combo, we're going to read it that way. And so it represents being able to, yes, celebrate your victories, have a great time, but now you're looking forward also to your next adventure, or maybe to your next travel thing. Like if you're a person, and let's say, for example, you've just got into like solo traveling or just traveling in general. Maybe you've been more used to like being at home. People are starting to notice that you've got like that travel bug, that travel fever within you, because we have this 6 of Swords, 6 of Wands combo, and we also have the Fool. And it's kind of interesting that they 100% have a crowd here looking at you. So people are really, really noticing the shift within you. And then also what I love about this is that they have this Six of Swords card sort of dressed like a page as well. And we know pages represent new, not necessarily new beginnings, but more new experiences. In a way, new beginnings. New experiences, learning and growth. And so people are feeling like you're expanding your mind, you're expanding your belief in the realm of possibilities. You're thinking about everything that you can achieve and really setting your mind to it and trying to figure out how you can achieve it. Now this should be sort of reversed a little. It's a little confusing with the the Seven of Swords here, or Seven of Cups, whatever you want to call it. Overall, when I see this spread, people feel like you're being very introspective. That's the main message of this reading. A lot of thought is going into your actions. A lot of thought is going into planning your future. A lot of thought is being had when it comes to how you are setting yourself up for happiness and how you are tackling areas of your life which may have felt like dissatisfactory, or yeah, that's the word I want to use. Unsatisfactory. There we go. Dissatisfactory doesn't make sense. There we go. And it's also interesting because when we have the Six of Wands and Six of Swords combo, it's kind of like that feeling of when you feel like, what's the word? You don't deserve it. Like imposter syndrome going on here. Like they're celebrating your victory, but to you it feels like swords and knives, and they can turn on you at any moment. Because swords are all about, you know, protect and attack. So it's almost like the crowd, yes, they're celebrating you, but it feels like they may discover that you're not real soon enough, or you're not who you say you are, and it's like a fantasy. So it makes me believe that people are noticing qualities in you that feel like you are trying to maybe look a little bit more inward when it comes to how you value yourself, how you build your confidence, and you're no longer looking towards external validation, external forces to plan your future or for feedback or to essentially make you feel better about the place that you are in life, which is a good place. It's a pretty good place, okay? You know, obviously we all want to change, we want to grow, we all want to develop, but it's a pretty good place. People really do feel like that you're someone who is experiencing a lot of happiness and fulfillment at the moment. And that, ooh, sorry guys, my alarm went off. I guess that's a sign. I didn't even know I said that. People feel like you're experiencing a lot of happiness and fulfillment at the moment, and that you're somebody who is ready to tackle on something new. Like the Fool is always that card, that risk taker energy, who wants to explore, who wants to go out there, who wants to try things that they've never tried before, who wants to experience life, who wants to meet new people, try new things, build new connections, build new relationships. They really see this sense of like adventure in your life. There's just a love of life there. There's a love for living. There's a love for exploring. There's a love for possibility. So people notice a sense of emotional joy, emotional satisfaction, because you have been looking inward to validate yourself. Because that you have been taking the time to really take in what it is that makes you feel good about you. You're like quieting out all the noise, and you're taking time to think about, okay, what are my goals? What am I trying to achieve? Why am I trying to achieve these things? Where do I want to go next? What's going to make me feel good inside? Do I really need to buy some expensive designer bag because I want it? Or am I doing that to sort of get praise from other people? You know, it's like taking those analytical looks. Am I looking for, what's something people tend to look for? Am I looking for a job, a high-paying job, because this is the field that I want, that this makes me feel passionate? Or am I doing it for like the status, to say, oh yeah, I've done this, look at my resume, this is who I am, like I'm that important person. It's no longer anything to do with that anymore. This is really all the things that you value. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like K2 energy in a way, because K2 is like freeing and they're very much like, I'm not going to listen to society. I'm going to focus on the things that make me happy and prioritize myself in a way. So people see that you're reevaluating your priorities, that you're much more intentional when it comes to nurturing your relationships, nurturing your goals. And then you may have even introduced like a new look, because the Queen of Coins, she's always about like refining her look and changing her appearance. So people may feel like there's been some noticeable different changes when it comes to how you look and how you present yourself. The Queen of Coins, normally upright, you know, she's very classy, she's very down to earth. But now the Queen of Coins, when she's reversed, she can either be one, very, very glamorous, or two, she's kind of pulling back. And generally she's pulling back because she wants to take a closer look at her style, at her presentation. And so she may stick to like very simple pieces for a time period. But then, you know, it's because she's learning or redeveloping her style as she grows. People feel like you're somebody who is setting stronger boundaries, who's making sure that you aren't overcommitting to anything, who's making sure that you have enough free time to enjoy yourself, that you're making sure that you are really, really taking the time to relax and enjoy life. The Queen of Coins, when she was reversed and she's surrounded by this 10 of Cups and the Fool card, she's putting down her little worker bee hat. And she's like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I need a break. I need to pull back. I need to reevaluate my priorities. And I need to take care of myself. Okay? The focus is also really strong when it comes to independence. And upright, the Queen of Pentacles, she's generally taking care of other people. But reversed, her main focus is herself. Okay? She's like, I really do need to take care of myself first. I have been overextending myself. I have been not creating enough time that I need to set my goals, to set my intentions, or to work on the things that will ultimately make me happier in the long run. And it's interesting that we got this 7 of Swords, this 7 of Cups combination going on here. Because instead of thinking about all the possibilities and things out there, which you are actually thinking about those things, but there's an element of thinking about all of the things that could go wrong. Because swords often represent, you know, those anxiety feelings, or those feelings of like, oh my goodness, I don't want this to occur, and what if this bad thing happens, and remember this time that X, Y, and Z happened. It's just very much like a mindset of, how can I prevent bad things from happening? Or how can I set myself up to win so that I don't have to deal with the same situations that I have dealt with in the past, so that I can keep moving forward? Okay, so people are feeling like you're taking steps for like risk management in your life, okay? That's like really creating like this strong safety net for yourself so that you can have this very happy and bright future. And then I guess the last thing that I sort of want to mention is that when I see these cards together, it kind of represents letting go of being so self-critical. If you have a thought process where you're constantly feeling like you could do better, you could do more, or maybe you could be really critical of your appearance or something along the lines of that, this is all about letting go of that self-criticism, embracing imperfections, and truly like valuing and accepting yourself for who you are. The Fool doesn't have a thought or worry in their head when it comes to what is next. They're just excited for what life has to offer them. They're just appreciative of where they're going to go and all the things that they're going to see. And they have this sense of wonder at the world around them. So it's just a very light type of energy, a very freeing energy. So people feel like you are being able to relax more. You're being able to be more comfortable with yourself. And these are some really strong, beautiful qualities that people are noticing within you. It makes me feel like when we have the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Swords energy, that you're thinking of all the ways that you can protect your peace. And people are feeling that from you. People are feeling like you're not tolerating the BS, you're not tolerating the nonsense, and that you're being someone who is ensuring that people aren't crossing your boundaries, and that you are not manifesting uncomfortable or difficult circumstances into your reality. Okay? So that is what I have for you, pal, number 3. They really do see that shift in your thought process. They really see that you're being a little bit more relaxed, more carefree, and that you're probably experimenting with your looks as well. And like I said, you're thinking about that future more. You're thinking about that long term. You're letting your hair down. You're enjoying life for what it is. There's this element of being in the present more. So that is what I have for you. If this reading does not resonate, feel free to choose a new pile, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. Either way, I'm very happy you stopped by, and I will see you next time. Au revoir. Hey, pal number 4, let's get started on the new qualities people are noticing in you. We have the Page of Pentacles, and this deck is so interesting because it is like the random tarot deck. So it's just a bunch of cards mixed up. So you can see the element of the Hangman in the Page of Pentacles. Very interesting, isn't it? We have the 8 of Pentacles, or formerly known as the 8 of Cups. We have the Page of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the 7 of Coins. So I thought I would use this deck because I felt it was fitting for the reading, how we have a lot of changes and new qualities coming. So when we have the Page of Pentacles, some new qualities that people are noticing in you, in particular, maybe some new habits that you are forming. Whether that is, my mind automatically goes to a change in diet, a change in fitness. These are some practical things. Then you have Page of Pentacles representing like new music and new activities in general that you may be interested in. So people may see you venturing out and testing the water when it comes to trying new things. For example, I just tried, flying trapeze. That would be a very Page of Pentacles activity, particularly for me, because it's new, right? And it's something that I'm doing and immersing myself in the material world. So very much so, people are noticing that you are gaining momentum when it comes to branching out in a way. The Page of Pentacles can also represent your communication and the way that you choose to interact with other people. Perhaps you're coming across as a bit more friendly. And I say friendly because we also have the Page of Cups, which can be very like inviting energy coming along. The Page of Pentacles is more so sort of casual, everyday conversation, sort of like, how was your weekend? And, how are you? Like very simple sort of things like that. The Page of Pentacles doesn't usually want to get too deep unless they're with friends. And what I love about this card is that we have the element of the Hangman here. So it does represent some introspectiveness going on. And the Hangman also represents sacrifices. So one thing that people see within you is the fact that you are starting to make some changes and developments that may require you to take on some sacrifices. Now, that could be many different areas, obviously. For example, I gave the example of dieting earlier. So one sacrifice you make on dieting may be something along the lines of like intermittent fasting. I'm only going to eat between these hours. So you're sacrificing your time and your mental efforts so that you can eat between those hours in order to gain a goal. So people are noticing that you are putting in some effort in order to achieve some sort of task. This can also be, Page of Pentacles is very practical. Obviously, all pentacles deal with the money, the material world. Perhaps people feel like, wow, this person is getting really serious when it comes to saving for some certain event. The thing about the Hangman as well is that the Hangman sort of deals with finances and big money. I don't talk about that as much on this channel, but because it has this connection to Pisces, which people say is like, the house of like charity and giving things away and house of losses. But not only is it the house of losses, I study Vedic astrology. And one thing that I notice about people in Vedic astrology is there's 3 placements that you find in the house of Pisces: Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada, and Revati. So these placements are dealing with a lot of massive amounts of wealth, even secret wealth, you would say that. One thing that I have seen, particularly in my Black Beauty study, where Uttara Bhadrapada came up, a lot of the women in the Black Beauty study tended to marry a lot of rich men in a way. And as well as Revati here, Revati is known as one of the wealth stars. And you'll see a lot of Revati people be sort of like Nepo babies, or like known to become from rich families, or being able to easily gain opportunities because Revati is the last nakshatra, so it's an accumulation point. So you aren't working as hard in order to gain some sort of status, money, or access as you might if you were Uttara Bhadrapada or Purva Bhadrapada or any other nakshatra placement. Revati makes things a little bit more easy access. So I say all this to say that more than likely you are dealing or you are implementing habits that can benefit you in the long run in order to create long-term stability. So people may be noticing those type of changes in you. And it may not even just be with money. Perhaps it's with some other type of goal where you're making sort of career moves in order to gain that long-term stability, wealth, and abundance within your life. So people are noticing a change in your seriousness when it comes to taking practical steps towards those goals. I feel like I don't even need to read the rest of the cards because they're very supportive of this type of energy. But let's keep going with this. We also have this 8 of Pentacles / 8 of Cups type of energy. So and a little bit of the Hermit too with the guiding light. But let's just go into the Eight of Pentacles, Eight of Cups. So when we see this here, the Eight of Cups representing moving on to someplace better, to doing some possible research and reflection and changing your circumstances for the better. Ultimately, it's about saying goodbye to things that just don't work for you. Similar to how I was saying with that Page of Pentacles hangman type of element. This represents you making some changes and developments within your life that will be better suited for you. You're no longer accepting the bare minimum. You are being someone who is, in a way, standing on business. Now, how strongly you stand on business is maybe not as strongly at first, because these are very like pages here, but you're starting to. You're starting to assert your boundaries. You're starting to move away from those who aren't supportive of your goals or circumstances that are just not fitting for you. The Page of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups type of energy coming on here represents moving away from circumstances that just aren't, what's the word? They don't have a solid foundation anymore. Okay, you're just like, this is just not for me. I really don't agree with this type of energy within my life. Perhaps this is literally moving. Perhaps you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot stand my neighbors. I cannot stand my roommates. I need to get out of this situation. I need to move on to someplace better. Can't stand this job. This job is not suited for me. I'm going to take some practical steps. And I'm really going to reflect on where I want to be in the long run and how I want to get there. The thing about both pages is pages are the students. So possibly maybe you guys are looking into studying certifications, taking some classes, taking some courses, anything that is going to help you move on to a better place. And it doesn't even have to be career. This could be a hobby or a business that you are investing more time into. This could be an elevation of satisfaction. That is the whole point of the Eight of Cups. It's saying the options in front of me are pretty cool, but I think there's something better out there for me that will bring me some happiness and some peace. So the qualities that people are noticing within you are you searching for ways to bring more happiness and fulfillment within your life. You taking more practical steps towards these things. And not only that, but when we have the pages, as I mentioned before, these are kind of like communicative cards. So people may notice that you are being more open, that you're being more friendly, that you're reaching out to make more connections. But let's get into the symbology, the symbolism of this Eight of Pentacles, Eight of Cups type of energy. So we know that the Eight of Cups is about moving on and going to the next stage, but then we also have the Eight of Pentacles, which is also about sort of going to the next stage. It's kind of interesting because you guys know, if you're a frequent watcher of my channel, thank you for being an astronaut, you know that I love to do research and do deep dives into the cards, and I do it randomly on certain days. And recently I was sort of doing my deep dive on the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles, at the time of the creation of these Rider-Waite tarot cards, there were a lot of, how do I say it? Internships, not apprenticeships. And during these apprenticeships, they fell under the care of their masters, meaning their masters would clothe them, they would feed them, they would take care of them, and they would spend maybe 12 plus hours a day focusing on their craft. And the only thing about this that's the thing about this that is very, very interesting, I twist my words sometimes, is the fact that this apprenticeship sort of relationship, you would think that it was the student who was under the thumb of the master and under the sway, and they didn't have much power given that they were sort of, what's the word I want to use? Beholden to their care and finances and their ability to train them. But the thing is that the students were very, very much sought after. So if you were a really good apprentice, then you would have other sort of masters trying to get you to come stay with them. They would offer you like better pay, better clothes, better opportunities. So it was very, very, very much competitive in that way. And I say this because people are noticing that you may be upping your skill set, your game, in order to remain competitive in possibly the job market or whatever sort of goal that you are trying to reach. Whether that goal is like, hey, I want to get really good at baking pies, and people notice you are on your grind and making pies every day so that, you know, you can, I don't know, enter some kind of pie contest or something along the lines of that. But it's like upping your game, upping your skill level so that you can remain competitive for other people to sort of seek you out. And then also, if we take sort of like the competitive material world outside of this can also represent putting more effort into having qualities that you like within a person or that you want and desire within yourself, meaning being charming, being optimistic, being someone who has a positive mindset, and focusing on like self-improvement and things along the lines of that, so that you aren't the person seeking out opportunities for connection, and people are seeking out opportunities to connect with you. So it can be things along the lines of that with this sort of energy. It's like saying, hey, I'm moving away from this very shy nature, and I am making sure that I am developing my character and who I am as a person and working on self-improvement, so that other people will want to talk to me, so that other people will want to come towards me and give me opportunities for, you know, better connections or networking or whatever the case may be. And people see those qualities within you. They see you growing, like I said, into a more friendly person, a more open person, a very empathetic person, very calm, very much saying, hey, I want to listen to what you have to say. I don't want to interrupt you. I want to make sure that your voice is heard. I want to make sure that I'm not being so judgmental. I'm trying to keep my biases in check. This is very much that type of energy that people are noticing within you. And because you are coming across as someone who is very self-aware, very much emotionally involved, highly emotionally intelligent and compassionate and kind and caring, people are like, oh wow, like I really like this person. I really enjoy this person. I want to spend more time with this person. I want to invest my energy into this person. I would like to invite this person out to this event. I would like to potentially mentor or promote this person or something along the lines of that. I would like to create a deeper connection. So people are noticing these qualities within you, and more than likely, you're going to start to see people more so seeking you out, as I mentioned before. Another thing that we have here is that when we see this Seven of Pentacles, like towards the end of this beautiful spread, it shows that people are noticing that you are being very, very serious about those next steps. Similar to how I was saying up here, how you're taking a very introspective look at where you want to go, how you want to do it, and when you want to do it by. The Seven of Coins is a very analytical card and a very organized card, similar to this Eight of Pentacles, Eight of Cups type of feel going on here. It represents looking at the fine print, looking at the details, making sure that you are being very considerate of all of the options that are available to you. It also represents having some level of success. The Seven of Coins can sort of relax and reflect because they are no longer in survival mode and they have been given opportunities to think things through. It's like, hey, I've already put in the work. Let me think about where I want to pivot to. So people are noticing that you are being very, very serious about your future. That you're someone who is, if you're dating, you are considering who you could possibly date next. You're creating strong boundaries and sticking to what it is that you desire within a relationship. And it falls similar to personal relationships as well, and what you will tolerate, what you will accept. This will also fall into the mix when it comes to job opportunities as well. This can come into the mix when it comes to how you want to consider the future. If you are responsible for children, you want to consider their future, what kind of school that they want to go to, what kind of activities they want to do, and you're really thinking it through to how you can help not only yourself reach your goals, but like I said, if you have children, how you can help them reach their goals in a more practical way. You know, it's sort of like, okay, I have a kid. This kid is very energetic. What might be fitting for them? Should I put them in a sport? Should they do some sort of dance or ballet? Like, what would they be drawn to? And then how will this pan out over years? Do you think this will be something that they will stick to? How much money would I need to invest in this? How much time would I need to be invested? Would I have to take off for competitions? It's very much thinking things through in the long run. The Seven of Coins is all about the future and the path that the future is going to take. So people are noticing that you're very future oriented. You're thinking about next year. You're thinking about the year after that. You're thinking 5 years down the line. So people really see that you are trying to gain foresight. So you're doing it in a practical way, and you're going by your intuitive knowledge as well. These qualities within you also kind of show that you are being very generous and very open, especially when it comes to your time. People feel like maybe you are trying to be someone who is open to going out or open to being more sociable in a way, especially with these cards. The Seven of Pentacles is not just investing money. As I mentioned before, it's investing time and effort and energy into something. And so people will notice that they feel like you're investing more time and effort and energy into them, into their relationships, into making sure you text back, making sure you call back, showing up for parties, showing up for invitations. Like, they feel like you're being this person who is trying to give a balanced and equal amount of time into the relationships that you are cultivating. These are some beautiful qualities that people are really, really noticing, that are really starting out lately. These are some new things that maybe you've even started already, or even previously, and you're just building upon them, especially when I get the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups can represent something that you build upon emotionally. So it's investing in new relationships and investing in old relationships as well. But whatever the case may be, people are really feeling this new vibe. This is very positive energy coming from you. Very smart, very intellectual, and very much a practical and emotional thing. We have like Pentacles and Cups. That is our main dominant elements of this reading. And we know the Pentacles are connected to those Artha houses in Vedic astrology, which is like the houses of like work and material and things along the lines of that. And I'm trying to remember if the Cups were, no, the Cups aren't Kama houses. That's the air signs. I'm trying to remember what the Cups were. Either way, the Cups are connected to the relationships that we form with other people, the emotional bonds that we have, the personal psychological growth and development. So really, people see that you're someone who is making sure that you remain self-aware, gain more self-awareness, and that you are acting upon the knowledge that you have gained. That is what this Seven of Coins is all about. How can I act on the knowledge that I have gained? How can I learn to research and develop more on the skill sets and the efforts that I've already put in? And people feel like you're making this next move and this next step towards your future and developing it to a better and brighter place. So that is what I have for you, pile number 4. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If this reading doesn't resonate, feel free to choose another pile, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. either way, I'm very happy you stopped by. Don't forget to check out my community tab where you can vote on the type of reading that you want to see next. And I go live Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And that is all I have to say. Au revoir. Hey pal, number 5, let's get into the new qualities that people are noticing in you. I decided to bring out the random tarot deck to go for this reading because it felt very fitting. It is like a combination of various different cards here. As you can see, the Queen of Wands is also combined with the Empress. So we have the King of Squirrels, as they say, and this is a random card, I should say. We have the Queen of Wands, we have Judgment, we have the Tower, and we have the Queen of Swords. Interesting how we have the King of Squirrels leading with this card. So when I get into the symbology of this card, it's almost like the new qualities that people are noticing in you is that you are tapping into sort of like your wild side, your ability to be uninhibited and free. We have the sun in the background of the King of Squirrels. And we all know the sun represents sort of wisdom, intelligence, fun, excitement, letting go. It represents new opportunities, new beginnings. So that is very much perfect for this reading here. People feel like you are getting in touch with your inner joy more. So it's that animal instinct to enjoy yourself, to have freedom, to not limit yourself, to be able to take on new ventures. People are noticing qualities in you that are more open to new opportunities and possibilities. You know, I've gotten the Sun card quite frequently recently, but they represented situations in my life which turned out to be pretty positive and pretty impactful, which makes sense because that aligns with the meaning of the sun, which is happiness, joyfulness, success, fulfillment. And so this can represent you taking the opportunity to celebrate life itself. People feel like you are letting your hair down. And there's this continuation of, what's the word I want to say? A continuation of making choices that are positive and that are leaning towards your higher self, that are benefiting yourself. And I say this because of 2 reasons. One, we have this yellow path here going towards the sun. And on this yellow path, we have the Lovers. And this yellow path also reminds me of like the yellow brick road, which is funny. But if we take that symbolism of like the yellow brick road, which is like this path of self-discovery and learning your own qualities. I mean, at the end of the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy just realized she had everything she needed to succeed in the world. You know, she picked up the lion on the way, which is a symbology of her leaning into her courage. Then she, picks up was it the Scarecrow? One of them didn't have a brain. I can't remember if it was the Scarecrow or the Tin Man, but she picks up these different characters along the way, and they are representative of her qualities within herself. The qualities that she picked up on her way to the end of her journey, which is representative of life. It's about knowing that you have everything that you need to succeed in this life. I mention this to say that this is you, number 1, understanding that you have a lot of positive qualities that you can bring out into the world, and that you no longer have to seek outward validation. So in the movie The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy was seeking validation through the wizard, versus knowing that she had everything she needed to be exactly where she needed to be which was home. She was searching all the time for something, but then she finally found it within herself, right? So this is people understanding that you are coming into this inner light, this inner confidence, which reminded me what I was saying earlier, the second thing, which is that you're making choices that help you glow, help you shine, help you benefit yourself. You are standing strongly and firm when it comes to no longer tolerating things that aren't suited for you, or tolerating behaviors from others that are, rude or not helpful or just trying to bring you down. You're pushing all of that energy out of your life, and you're choosing something positive and something glorious and amazing, a life that brings you peace and happiness and joy. People notice these things in you. And I know that they're noticing these things because we also have the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands radiates confidence. She radiates self-assurance. Not only that, but when we have this Queen of Wands cloaked in the Empress cloak, just like we have the King of Squirrels cloaked in the Emperor's cloak, it's about stepping into your own power. When we step into our own power, we understand that we are capable. We understand that we have all the tools that we need to succeed, that we are secure within ourselves. We know our value. We know our worth. And people are seeing that within you. They see that you're not tolerating BS from other people. You're not tolerating circumstances that don't make you feel good. You're creating habits that are beneficial towards yourself and your future. And you are this person who is breathing fertility within your life, meaning that you are creating a world for yourself that is beautiful and that feels enriching and powerful. That is what's happening here for you, pile number 5. And people are 100% noticing that. We also, with the Queen of Wands and the Empress combo here, and the Queen of Swords, can represent sort of like a level up. Not only just within like your life in general with making more positive decisions towards your future, but also this could be like a physical level up. People may be noticing that you are changing and transforming physically. They may feel like you are changing and transforming mentally as well with the Queen of Swords here. They may feel like you're somebody, like if you're on some sort of weight loss plan or goal, which a lot of people have these New Year's resolutions for themselves, they are noticing those changes and differences within you. Sometimes people later in life will go through these transformation periods where they may also experiment with their style in a way. And I think that is a perfect thing to mention, especially given that we have the random tarot. We have the Queen of Wands having a new wardrobe here. So people may feel like, oh, I've noticed this new change in you, and you're switching up your style and you're experimenting a lot when it comes to your looks and your hair or your nails and whatever the case may be. But there's something about your appearance that is changing, and it's changing for the better. And people are really liking what they see here, especially when we have Judgment in the Tower here, because Judgment is all about revitalization and looking fresh and having this transformative moment and taking this time and opportunity to deeply examine things. So people really feel like if you've made these changes within your appearance or your life or something else, that you've really taken the time to consider what works best for you. And they feel like everything is falling into place in the right way, and you're getting rid of things that just aren't suited for you. Keeping on the topic of like appearance, maybe you had a hairstyle and the hairstyle was all right, but this new hairstyle that you've gotten, people are like, oh wow, this is your look, this is your style, this is your flavor, this is how things are supposed to be. And I often get the Queen of Swords to represent somebody having a very polished appearance, somebody who's very neat and very put together. And the Queen of Wands in general can represent like a creative type of vibe, somebody who can be very experimental with colors and changing up their style and being very bold and having a unique flavor, because the wands are all about creativity and uniqueness. But people are seeing this within you. People are noticing that you are taking the opportunity to really transform various different areas within your life. The physical is one of them. And then we also have this sort of like Pluto energy here because the Tower is connected to Mars and Jupiter is the Judgment card is connected to Pluto. And that can be the 8th house. So people feel like there's this psychological transformation that's going on with you. Now, maybe this is you, addressing some certain self-sabotaging behaviors. Maybe this is you, addressing any sort of past traumas or things that you needed to heal from, or even like impulsivity, like decisions that weren't necessarily the best. And you're like, you know what? I need to stop being so like impulsive when I do things. Like, for example, maybe you have a hard day and you say, oh, I want to treat myself because of my hard day by going to get like a burger, going to get Chick-fil-A or something along the lines of that. Instead of doing like a behavior that is not beneficial towards you in the long run because you're going through a stressful period, you're taking the time to pause and say, actually, I've done this a billion times. Maybe I should do something else as a stress relief. And I'm just using that as an example because it's like an easy example. But this could really be about any area of life where you're taking the moment to re-examine certain behaviors and changing and moving about in a different direction. People are noticing that you are implementing a lot of positive changes within your life. That you are getting rid of any sort of behaviors that have not been beneficial towards you. Perhaps you have a behavior of, jumping to conclusions. Now, with the Judgment card here in the Tower, it's like, you know what? I actually don't want to jump to conclusions anymore. There's two sides to a story, especially with the Queen of Swords here. The Queen of Swords represents being balanced and fair. So you, maybe in the past, you've been like, okay, I really believe this person, because, this person is someone I trust and I care about. So I'm going to take their side. But as you get older and as you get wiser, which is what was happening for you, pal number 5, you say, you know what? This person is telling things from their perspective. I really do need to hear the other perspective to understand what's fully going on. So there's little changes like that when it comes to your personality and how you're developing that people are noticing within you. These cards represent a deeper thought. The Tower as well can represent a deeper thought because it's about tearing down old structures. And obviously to tear things down, you kind of need to know like what is getting in the way of progress or what's something that's not being built on solid ground in a sense. But people really feel like that you are starting to be more open and honest, not only with yourself, but with others as well. You're speaking up, you're saying what's on your mind more. And people are feeling like you are providing a very thoughtful and insightful perspective when it comes to the conversations that you're having with people. It's no longer if you've just kept things kind of short or if you've not really wanted to invest a lot socially when it comes to interacting with others. This is more so about engaging more and speaking what's on your mind and bringing in a fresh perspective to things. So people really feel like you are more engaged, that you are someone who is being very sociable a lot more. That could be a big transformation that people are noticing within you, pile number 5. But all in all, this energy feels like things are being refreshed. That you're surprising people a lot when it comes to your intellect, your ability to be witty, to be funny. People may even be really shocked by the things that you have to say, to be completely honest. They're just like, whoa, I'm surprised that, you know, you think that way, or that you have that opinion, or that you feel so strongly about this thing. You know, it's like you're finally letting your voice out. And that's really a lot that's happening here. The last thing that I want to mention, which is possibly, you know, it's a big thing. It's kind of a small, big thing, whatever. It depends on where you are in your life. But people are noticing that you're taking like a critical look, possibly when it comes to like your finances. And I say that because this Judgment Pluto energy can relate to like the 8th house. And the 8th house can represent finances. It can also represent, you know, like sort of job opportunities in general. Because it's like the opportunities people are giving you for work and things along the lines of that. So people may feel like you are changing when it comes to how you go about either getting a job, or like the role that you're taking in the world. Like how you are deciding to make your money, or something along the lines of that. And this can also be like deciding how you are trying to invest your time in things, because the 8th house can represent a lot of deep research. So people may notice a change in the topics that you may tend to be interested in, or the social media that you consume. These are the things that people are feeling like are noticing changes in you, which makes sense because they feel like you're opening up more and you're talking about a diversity of different topics and things along the lines of that. So people feel like, oh, this person's interests have maybe shifted in a way. Okay, I do want to mention that. But this really is about, you know, taking a dive into something deeper, something more fulfilling, something more spiritual, something that is ultimately more satisfying and happy. So the last thing I want to mention is that people may be noticing a change within your mood. Okay? They may feel like you are somebody who is bringing about, like you look like you're more happy. You just look more satisfied. You look more happy. And people feel like you are irradiating a lot of confidence, pile number 5. So that is what I have for you. You know, feel free to choose another pile if this doesn't resonate, or choose another reader. Either way, I'm happy you stopped by. Don't forget to I go live either Friday, Saturday, Sunday every week. I post a time by Tuesday night that I will be live. You can check out the community tab for that. And don't forget to vote on the latest poll to see what reading might be next. And thank you for watching. Au revoir.